Adventure on Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I am here with our next guest who, man, I love their music. They're pretty killer, and they're from the other side of the pond, so I like that too, because, I'm always going over there for Download and Bloodstock, and it's just a cool place for great music. And even me growing up, I mean, that was where I wanted to be, on the other side of the pond. Because that was where it was at. And this band is where it's at. So let's, with no further ado, bring on LASTELLE. How are you?
Hey, yeah, we're doing good. So, thanks so much for having us. And, outside of the pond, you're always welcome. Come on over. The water's fine.
The only thing I hate about your side of the pond is the weather.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's torrentially raining right now, so...
that's no surprise to me, and the bipolarness is the problem. It's like I'll be doing interviews at Download, and for one interview I have my hoodie on, and then the very next interview I have to take it off, and then I have to put it back on. It's like every 5 minutes the weather changes. But yeah, I guess that's why there's great music there, because you get to get out of the bad weather and make some great creativity.
That's it. Inspired by that. It's all about layers.
There it is. And let's talk about your other band member there. He's the face of the band. So we don't want to leave him out so people aren't going, well, why is he there? Well, he's part of the band, except, technology sometimes, it doesn't cooperate with the vocals. But he has to be there in spirit with us. So we were actually I was saying before for the listeners that we were going to make a TikTok, and Freddie was going to do the actual vocals, and Mike would just mouth it and lip sync it just like a TikTok.
Yeah. So that's the plan moving forward for the music as well, is it's all going to be mimed, and
right?
None of it's going to be real. Yeah. We're moving in that direction.
Hey, that would be actually. How funny would that be if you just put something out like that?
I'm just saying, pop bands have been getting away with it for decades, so it's about time metal got lazy too, right?
Exactly. Well, it's funny you should say that, because as a metalhead from way back in the beginning, I do find that there are, and you're not included in this list, but there are bands out there that are taking the easy way out, like metal's supposed to be an algebraic equation that you just put this formula in, and that's definitely not what you guys are, and that shows your true musicianship and love of music, because you're not just making something, you're creating something.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate that. That's I think we try and approach it from when it comes to writing, what best suits the song. And that isn't necessarily trying to make something that's super complex for the sake of itself being complex. I think we'll try and write something and connect more with an emotional level of it. And, so that's, some people like that, some people don't like that. That's okay. We're not here to try and please everyone, but our approach to it is that we want it to be as authentic as we can.
And that you can always tell as a listener or somebody that watches you live, you can always tell whether the band is authentic or they're just there for another reason. And to me, the best, longest lasting music is authentic, because you're not trying to do anything but be you. And I think that's also a message of your music, because of the type of things that you talk about is like, I think this world needs to start letting people just be themselves instead of categorizing them and putting them in a box and what they expect out of them, and especially music artists.
Yeah. Yeah. Like musicians, or, I think any sort of artistic expression allows you to really express who you are as a person. And that's what I think we all find really wonderful about the ability to write and perform music the way we do, is that for that moment and within that, we're able to be authentic and be ourselves.
Mhm.
And hopefully that message, like,
Your mic's muted.
hey, I'm good at this, aren't I?
Hey, there you go. Now we had you. That's the plan, wasn't it? We're gonna just do all your music from now on. Is all gonna be muted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. Exactly. No, I just think just going back to it, I just think it's important to a lot of people don't feel comfortable to be themselves, and if we can help people in any way feel like it's okay to be who you are, then I think we've done our jobs, really.
Yeah, especially since I think about people have expectations about how other humans are supposed to act, be, do, whatever, and I think about it all the time. Who came up with these rules? Like I think we're all individuals, we're all unique, and who came up with these rules of what we're supposed to be? And maybe, thank God, we're getting in a direction where people can do exactly what you're saying, and they can just be them and not have to follow any rules.
Yeah, that's nice. And I think we're moving in that direction. There's still a long way to go, societally, and depending where you live in the world, there's different restrictions on who you can and can't be. But it's nice to feel surrounded personally by people who allow me to feel comfortable to be myself.
And that's why I think music's all about, especially in the metal community. Those that aren't familiar of what it's like to be in the metal community, that there's nobody that's in it. We're all in it, and there's no outsiders, there's no labels, there's no judgments. It's just we're one big family. And I think music is also a great outlet for people to be who they are. We were just talking about this in the last interview of when you sing a song, sometimes you're expressing things about yourself that nobody ever knew about you, because it's not something you could easily talk about, but a lot easier to sing about.
Right. Yeah. Maybe some people find that. Personally, I've always been the kind of person that wears my heart on my sleeve anyway. So I feel comfortable to be able to communicate that with people and talk about who I am as a person. But at the same time, I also think sometimes there are certain things that are said much better when you take the time to write it down in a thought about way, and you take the time to figure out how to make your statement and say it in a concise way, rather than just speaking purely off the top of your head, So yeah, if you take the time to actually sit and process that song and write, then you can process that emotion in a maybe more thorough way. So maybe it's, in my mind, I feel like it's maybe a different approach to, neither one's wrong, but it allows you to process something and really have to take the time and sit and think on that emotion. It's the same with performing a song every night. You have to sit on that emotion, and some songs are harder than others. Some songs you maybe wrote when you were in a dark place, and this isn't necessarily just about our band, but this is about music in general, right? If you wrote that when you're in a dark place and you're maybe in a better place now, but you're still performing that song, you're in a way you're never able to escape that. But also in a positive way, you're always reminded that that was a place that you were once, and it allows you to not forget it, but just to remember that there was a time when things were worse,
Those are all great points, especially for the fact that you made me think about, okay, so if I'm an artist and there's certain songs that, like, after you've been an artist for a long enough time, everybody wants to hear and you have to play pretty much at every show. But then maybe you don't really want to play that song because maybe you were in a dark place that you don't want to revisit in that song itself, and you're getting emotional, or or maybe it doesn't even apply to your life anymore. So it's kind of weird to sing something that doesn't apply to your way of thinking or your way of life at that point in time. It's almost strange to you. Do you think so?
I think you can have that distance there. I'll field this one at Mike, and we'll see how his microphone's getting on. But Mike, do you think there's anything in particular in the set that you feel like perhaps was written, and we don't have to name names, but perhaps was written by someone and now they no longer feel like that? Or do you think that all of the songs in the set are still relatively easy to play?
See how this goes. Yeah, I think we have songs that meant something at one time, but it also changes and evolves and means something completely different in the next cycle of, say we'll do a tour to tour, like something feels fresh and in the moment, but then you've sat with something for so long that you then play the song again, it means something a little bit different, and then it brings new life to the song, for me at least. But yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree. We've got several songs in the set that when we were first playing them, they felt a particular way. But with any music, as anyone knows, it's always open to interpretation, right? So
yeah,
what we wrote the song about isn't necessarily what that song's going to mean to a listener. And what you find often is people might reach out and say, hey, this song really resonated with me because a person close to me passed away and I heard the song and it helped me get through that time. Now, we didn't write it about that person's family member or close friend who passed away. Of course we didn't, but for them it resonates and it means that to them. And so every song is written, and to every single person who listens to it, it has, it means something different to every person who hears it. And I also think that goes as a performer, it can mean something different every time you play it. And some songs feel more hopeful and some songs feel more desperate when you're in a desperate place. So yeah, I agree, Mike. I think even as a tour goes on, a song, you can sit with it and then it changes its meaning for you every night sometimes.
That's a great point, because I didn't even really think of that, because yes, everybody puts their own meaning to a song, but I never thought of also the artist, that meaning changing different times that they're playing the song. So that's kind of cool, because then to me, sometimes maybe that song has a different vibe or sound to it at one show than it does another.
Yeah, I don't know if necessarily the sound would be too different from the way that we would perform it. However, when you talk about a mind-body connection, the way that your mind, this is getting super abstract, right? Hear me out. But as a singer, your body is, and your whole body is your instrument. So any sort of tension you're carrying or stress is going to make your voice sound different to if you're more relaxed. So even just something as simple as that, the way you feel does affect how you approach things as a singer. Now, as a, when I'm playing bass, if I'm in a good mood or a bad mood, I'll be honest, mostly sounds the same. Right. There's not too much of a difference there. But sometimes when Mike's in a really, terrible mood, he'll hit his snare 20% harder and I'll come away 20% deafer. So yeah, I know to cheer him up before next practice,
Or maybe that was a good sound, the angry snare sound.
Yeah. We'll just be really horrible to him during the recording process.
Right.
And that will go terribly, and will allow him just as much ability to talk about how he's feeling as he's allowed right now when he's on mute. How does that feel, Mike? Yeah, just a thumbs up.
I love it. So now let's talk about the newest song. What meaning does that have to you guys? Life in Silhouettes. So
our approach to songwriting, lyrically, is largely a collaborative process. So almost every time, sometimes it's led by one person or another, but most of the time we'll sit down together and we'll kind of work our way through a song and talk about, maybe someone will bring forward an idea of a chorus or a verse or something, and then we take it from there. And then we will all approach it together. So with this song, it was approached together. So because of that, I can only speak as to my personal take away from it. And as we just spoke about, this idea that songs mean different things to different people, and when you're performing it or writing it, it can sometimes change its meaning. However, that said, the way that the song resonates with me personally, and I feel like my input into it, was this idea of self-discovery and being comfortable with yourself. In the simplest terms, that's how I could phrase it, because there's a lot of people who don't necessarily ever go on that journey, don't ever learn about themselves. And I've had a lot of friends and family and people close to me who've gone on that journey of discovery and felt a lot better for it. So if I could speak one message as to my point to be made with this song, it's that, to understand yourself and be more comfortable with yourself.
I think that's a great message, because there's so many people that are not, and even people that think they are probably aren't and don't realize it some of the time, and so again, as we were talking before, the song can have a different meaning for every person that listens to it, but it definitely has a message for everybody out there. And I think everybody listening should check it out. And not only that, you guys are badass musicians, so
Appreciate it.
How do people connect to you guys on socials, on the web? How do they check out the new song and all your everything else you have going on, merch, all that?
You can find everything at LASTELLEBand.com. That's our website. It's got all of our videos, links to all our music. All of our socials are generally at LASTELLEBand or /LASTELLEBand, wherever you are. And we've got all of our music currently released is on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, places like that. So you can always find out what we're doing. Head over to YouTube. It's got all of our videos. Post a lot of content on our Instagram and TikTok at the moment. And yeah, I think there's something, depending how people consume music, there's a way to do it. We're everywhere.
Right. Nowadays, there is a way for everybody. That's another thing there. Like, somebody wants to listen on one, but somebody else might want to listen on another, and so there's something for everybody, because we're all unique human beings that, have different needs and wants. And you guys, I think, check all the boxes with this song. So everybody's got to check it out. Do you have anything else you want to let the listeners know that you have upcoming, coming out, or anything that we haven't covered already?
Yeah. Well, this is the point in the interview where Mike was going to give a 3-hour-long speech, but unfortunately, due to the tech issues, he's not going to. So maybe Mike can just instead talk about we've got 2 shows in the books, and just in an effort so that people don't have to hear my voice for the whole time. Maybe I could fill that one to Mike.
Hello, I'm back. If it sounds like shit, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we've got shows coming up. We spoke about Download. You love Download. We're playing the Wednesday at Download. So if you've got RIP tickets, you can come check us out. And then, what else we got? Romania. Playing Romania later in the year. That's mad. On the Friday, I think. Opening.
Yeah, that's the 2 we've got in the books.
Yeah, I think that's everything we've got planned so far. But there will be more.
And this will be our Download interview. So there you go. Because I'm doing.
You're making it over this year, or you're not?
No, I'm supposed to be going, but something just came up recently that I might not be able to go. But I'm still going to do all the press coverage and stuff. So it's funny because if I don't end up showing up, I'll still do a bunch of interviews like this. And it was already a plan, which is why I brought it up, to have you guys included in the Download coverage. How many times have you played Download?
This is our first time.
Really? And
Yeah,
that's home. So that's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a bit of a bucket list one for us for quite a while, actually. It's been Download for what, like 20 years, and before that it was like Monsters of Rock, and it's an iconic festival. It's like known around the world. So it's
it's the most iconic in the world. I mean,
yeah.
Like if you're going to know one festival in the world, it's going to be Download.
As far as heavy music goes, it kind of sits right up there. So yeah, that's a pretty good one to tick off the list. and it's not too far from home either. It's just up about an hour north of us, so it's up near Derby, and we're based around Oxford area. So it's about an hour and a half. So nice and easy. Go up, play. Might even get to sleep in my own bed afterwards, which is always a
I know,
bonus.
right? How often does that happen?
Well, that's it. That's the dream. You know, as much as I love slumming it in a tent or sleeping in a car, I'm here for getting back into my own bed.
You know, it's so funny because I was looking for a place to stay near Download because, you know, with all my equipment and stuff, I don't do the camping because where am I going to put the equipment and how am I going to charge it and all that? And there's literally Airbnbs that are literally just tents that are charging like for the days of the festival, like $1,000 just so you can sleep in their tent.
That's an awful idea. That is $1,000 you have wasted. Never do
Right?
that.
Like, who's gonna do that? I'm looking at that. I'm like, nope, that's eliminated. Why do I need to? I can just post a tent anywhere. Oh, I think Mike has something to add to that.
I'm an idiot, and I would end up doing that.
Well,
I'll say Airbnb and then turn up as a tent, and then be really sad.
Yeah, one room, one bed, sleeps 5. Perfect.
Right. I just want to clue everybody in that isn't used to going to festivals in Europe or the UK. You don't have to spend $1,000 to get in a tent because there's free camping. Just bring your tent.
It's I'd have thought it was pretty obvious, but here we are.
See, there you go. Like, and I'm sure somebody is going to reserve that $1,000 tent.
Hey, if it's not you, it's me, right?
There it is.
I'll beat you to it.
All right. Well, we could share it. We can make it the press artist tent. Like,
perfect.
We could promote it. That's the new press area of Download.
Where are you going to charge your stuff? That's the issue. Yeah, so
a very long extension cord that goes to the real press tent at Download.
Got you. Why don't we sleep in the press tent? That sounds much more comfortable. And I can charge my phone.
And they do. Yeah, you can charge a phone. There's Wi-Fi. There's storage locker there. You know, it's perfect. I'm going to bring that up. You know what? That's a new way to do it. Forget camping outside there. Just do it right in the press tent.
Yeah. You get the first scoop on everyone, you know?
And like the first band that plays for the day, they get to camp out on the stage they're playing on. So they just roll out of the tent and start playing.
Well, that was our plan for this Romania festival. So we're opening up the stage, and our plan is to get there the night before and set up tents on the stage. Just makes loading easier, you know.
Right?
It's a bit less stuff to set up. Yeah.
See, that could be a whole new trend right there.
I'm not sure it'll take off.
The bands end at like 3 a.m. and I don't know if I could stay up that late to set up a tent on the stage. So.
Oh well, there you go. There's a little kink in the armor.
It's quite common for Euro festivals. Like I did a bit of digging, and some of those festivals don't finish till 2 a.m. And I gotta be honest, I am in bed.
Well, you know,
I'm here for it.
It's true because like I do Hellfest, Grass Pop, and Hellfest. I remember the first time I went there. And okay, so it was over around 2, but it wasn't over because then there were bands playing in the campground the rest of the night. There were shopping cart races. That was pretty fun.
Did you win?
I just observed the first time.
Okay.
But it was definitely quite comical. But yeah, it was. I can tell you, I did the Hellfest that was after COVID where it was 2 weekends and like I didn't sleep for 7 days.
I love sleeping.
Yeah.
You couldn't catch me doing that. Like, yeah,
well, there's this festival here near where I live called Okeechobee Fest, and it's 24 hours a day for 4 days. Okay. So that bands that they're like reaching out to me. Hey, our set's at 2 a.m. Can you do the interview at 3?
Did you agree or?
Yeah, unfortunately I did.
There you go. You've only got yourself to blame.
I know, right? Well, like the last band I was interviewing, their song is about people pleasing. So there you go. That's what I was doing. Sure, I'll help you guys out.
No worries. Interview at 3. Sure.
Exactly.
You won't ever catch us asking you for an interview at 3 a.m. I can promise you that.
There you go. Well, and you dispel the rumor of like metal musicians just never sleep and just party all night long. So thank you for that, because it's usually not even close to true.
We are the least metal party band you'll ever meet. We don't do any of that. No, thank you. Bed by 1.
I think that's the new thing, which is kind of cool. I think a lot of metal bands nowadays are straight edge, because I come from the 80s Sunset Strip scene where it was the exact opposite. It's like, okay, well, we're going to go over this dude's house and probably the party will be over in about 2 weeks. So
yeah, that's not our style. We're pretty we're always up for fun, but we're pretty early bedtime kind of band.
Well, there you go.
Go for a walk, have a picnic,
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you're like headlining Download?
Wake up, play, go back to bed.
Because, I'm putting that out there because you guys are good. So you need to headline Download. So now when the PR people of Download see this interview and hear this interview, they're going to know that you're going to need to download and you're going to need to headline very soon.
Well, firstly, I appreciate that. And let's manifest it, right? But also, like, the interesting thing with Download is it's not that late. It's usually done by like 11 o'clock. It's kind of strange compared to like a lot of like mainland Euro festivals that go on till 2. Like Download's pretty.
I think it's the sound ordinances, because we have that in the States.
There's a lot of that in the UK. There's a lot more like laws and stuff about like not being late, whereas in mainland Europe they have less laws regarding that, or they have specific licenses they can get away with. I don't know.
Well, like with Hellfest, they basically own the whole town, so it's like. They can do what they want, but like here in the States, we have the same. It's 11 o'clock. If a band ends at 11:01, they get fined huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
Like you have to be done 11, period, end of story. So you can headline Download then. It won't be too bad.
Well, again, like you said, we'll manifest it, but I think we've got enough time between now and then that we can figure out the hotel situation, right?
Right. There you go. Just work that into a deal. Listen, if I'm headlining, I don't want to camp. Give us a hotel.
I want to be off stage at 11 and in bed at 11:03.
Exactly.
I want to be in a bubble bath at 11:03, bed at 11:30.
See, and there again, you're giving this good image of metalheads. Like, who thinks of a metalhead in a bubble bath?
Yeah, I mean, if people are now thinking of me in the bubble bath, I don't know what to say. But that's their prerogative. I can't stop them doing that.
I'm here to tell you, after doing radio for a long time, there's definitely people listening to this that are envisioning you in a bubble bath. And they probably don't even, and they might be just listening and not even watching and still
They
envisioning.
don't look like, do they? Yeah.
So,
like you envisioning me are you thinking of me in the bath?
Yeah, it looks good, man.
And he probably already knows what that's all about. So
we're pretty close.
As any band should be. All right, guys. Well, any final words you want to leave everybody with?
Mike, you got your 2-hour speech ready, or?
So here's the thing about airplane food. No.
That's the end of your standard routine.
They don't give it out anymore. There's no more airplane food.
I'm done. No,
you guys rock. This new song is badass. Everybody's got to check it out. And man, keep making that great music and keep manifesting that headlining Download. And in the meantime, man, you're going to have a sick ass set at Download. So looking forward to here, looking forward to a lot more from you guys, and I hope you have a blast killing it at Download.
Thank you so much. It's been one on the bucket list for a while. So yeah, we're just stoked that so many people are interested in what we're doing. You know, we're able to get these opportunities to do things and go out, meet people, connect with people, and that's really why we're doing it. So it's really, really nice. It's a wonderful feeling.
Beautiful. Love it. And I love what you're about. Love your music. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.